Hey folks, this is Max and welcome to another workflows video. Now today I want to show you how to use custom API action that's available on the various connectors. So what I mean by custom API action, let me show you. I'm going to go to, let me just delete this. These are all my connectors and I'm going to go Okta. And then the option here is custom API actions. You can see it says make an authenticated HTTP request to the Okta API, but any connector will have this, and then the other one is, I think I already missed it. Here we go. Custom API action. This is for Slack. Okay, so I'm going to show you what it does, sort of when you should use it. But first, let me. So I'm going to go to Okta, and instead of using the custom API action, I'm actually going to. Let me just search here. Sorry, it shouldn't be all caps, but here I want this one. Let's use research. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of the available actions. And I'm going to use the first 200 records because I have only 7 users. And then I'm going to use active. And let's test this. Right, I'll get 2 users. Olivia, the other one is myself. And if I go here to my directory, so this is myself active. And then this is Olivia active. Okay. Now, so what I've used here is a Okta connector with one of the available actions, which is list users with search. Now, under the hood, it makes an API call it just makes a raw API call, behind the scenes, basically, right? But we don't need to sort of know how to make that API call because we have an action that we just sort of configure with no code here, and then we can see that it works. Now, let me save. Now, next, let's go. Oh, sorry, not. I need to do action, and then Okta. Now, let's use the action here. And using this approach, let's call this API, right? Exactly the same API, but using the custom API action. You can see the difference. So here, notice that it's asking me to select the request type. In this option, I didn't need to sort of worry about that. Now this is a get. And let's save. Now notice here, I do need to specify the URL. It's not the full URL, it's the relative URL. Now it's relative because I'm actually using the Okta connection. So the authentication is taking care for me. But I do need to specify the endpoint, right, to where I'm making the request. So it's a little bit more work, but still I don't need to worry about the authentication, for example. So the URL is API version 1 user. So you do need to know the endpoint. And now we also need to set up the query. You can enter the query here if you would like, but just to make it a little bit more interesting, let's use construct. And we'll call this has to be the attribute is search, and then this is status active. If we test this card, so this is what we get, and this is the search that we want to include in the query. So we can do something like this. Okay. Now, because this is more than one card, we need to test the entire flow. So let's test this. All right. These are errors from before. So I built the flow and then it wasn't working, so I had to delete it, the cards. But anyhow, so you can see now it's working. Now the result. Oh, you know what? To make it easier to see the result, let's see here. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Here we go, body. All right, so we've got Olivia right here. Actually, 1, and then myself 2. Sorry, and we can see there's one user, and then there is a second user. All right, I apologize. I was looking at the wrong. I was looking at the body. But now we can see that both give us the same the same result. Again, this is an action that's available out of the box. And here we're using custom API action, where we do need to know the relative URL, and we do need to know what the query is, right? Now, how would you know what the query is? Well, you need to go to the actual API docs and then sort of see what the query format. So the question is like, why would they use this option when it's available out of the box? Well, there's some API endpoints which are not exposed in the connector automatically. Okay, what I mean by that, if I go again to Okta, again a lot of actions here, but some calls are not available yet. Okay, so what do you do then? Well, then you can use this approach. So let's scroll up. And then the option that I want to use is also a get. And I want to say get, but let's see. And then I want to list all the apps that I have. And so this is API version 1 apps. So again, no action is available out of the box. So I do need to use this option. And so let's test this. And then I get 6 apps here, as you can see. Now, to make it a little bit easier to see what the result is, we can use another, we can use the pluck card. The pluck, and then I know it's label that we want. So let's see. Let's test this again. And here we can see these are all the apps. So we've got the Okta Admin Console, Okta Browser Plugin, Okta Workflows, and Salesforce. Only 6 apps enabled in my organization. So that's kind of how a custom API action works. And again, it's not only, of course, you don't only have to be limited to the Okta connector. The same action, custom API action, is also available with other connectors as well. Now, another option. So again, this is available out of the box, part of the connector. This is you using the connector. It's already authenticated, and then you're just specifying the endpoint you want to call. Now, the third option, and I'm going to really do an example, but just to show you, is that if you want to call a connector, if you want to call a service that's not available at all, then you can use the API connector. And this is kind of the raw option. Let me do this. Here we go. And then you can just make a raw, a get, a post to any third-party API, right? So you've got 3 different ways to call an API, just depending on what's available. So that's what I wanted to show you. Thanks for watching. I, as always, hope this was useful, and I'll see you next time.